Gather around, weary travelers and seekers of truth, for you have stumbled into the deepest, darkest vault of the realm. For you stand before the threshold of the content dungeon. Long have the masters of this domain toiled in the shadows, crafting the very foundations of the Empty the Bench network. And today, the heavy iron rises, and the secrets of the forge are laid bare. Behold your overseers and architects of chaos, the keepers of the keys themselves, Sir Callan McClurg and Sir Nick Morgasen. Steel yourselves as they pull back the heavy velvet curtains to reveal the grime, the glory, and the grinding gears of building an empire from the absolute depths. Enter at your own risk, for once you witness the making of the machine, there is no turning back. Well, hello again, my friends. Happy Tuesday. Welcome inside the Content Dungeon. We are in place of ETB Sports on this Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. From the pits of misery of the ETB network, Nick Morgasen joining us as always. Of course, yours truly, Callan McClurg as well. Back alongside you for the next hour or two here across ETB, again in place of ETB Sports today. But then am I, Mr. Morgasen? We're back for the second day in a row. Day two. Give it up for day two.
All right, Mr. Krabs reference. But yeah, welcome back to the Content Dungeon. We have a lot to discuss all of a sudden. But since this show doesn't really have social media, at least not yet, follow the Empty the Bench network at ETB Network across all social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow everything that we are doing. Sorry, I'm trying to get our show shared out because we were kind of in a rush. But we have a lot to discuss. Even some sports news we're going to discuss because we said, even though it's a behind-the-scenes show, we are going to react to some sports stuff that goes on, including a certain hockey owner who can't get his shit together. But boy,
whose fault is that?
Tom Dawden. I would say it's his fault. But boy, where do we want to kind of preview where this show starts? So we're gonna do from the carrier pigeon again. We're gonna get into some more breaking news that's happened. Gee, color me shocked in the NIL college football world. We're gonna get into that whole scenario. We're going to take you in the war room again. We're going to discuss our schedule and what's coming up, because by the time this show airs next week, we're going to be in August.
Can you believe that?
Is that unbelievable that we're going to be starting to talk about holiday schedules and all that stuff?
Oh, and we get a break from content?
Well, that'll be after the second week of December concludes. And actually, we'll have a week coming up that will be off for the whole network a week before the football season comes. So we'll discuss all that as we make it through our roughly 2-hour journey today. What else do we have? As we get closer to 3,000 watch hours, we're going to discuss everything that's going on in that world, where you're going to see even more. We're talking about more content coming your way with some really good ideas on the horizon, including a show where if you're like a Barstool fan, you'll understand where one of these show ideas kind of came from. Also, we'll talk some analytics. We'll talk about how the LeBron James news kind of threw everybody for a loop. Not just our network, but a lot of networks. It kind of threw a loop because the news kind of dropped, I think it was on Friday at like 11:30 Eastern. Approximately is when the news kind of dropped. So we'll get into all that. But I think we need to start with some breaking news first, right?
Let me see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Oh, here we go.
Do you want to talk about what we just came across with Tom Dotton and the Blazers?
Yeah, there is some breaking news, though, courtesy of our carrier pigeons, though. Yikes. This broke right as we took the air, though, Nick. And per the Sports Business Journal, Tom Dundon, a.k.a. El Cheapo, reportedly explored pursuing the NBA expansion bid for Vegas before determining that the Blazers represented a stronger long-term value at $4.25 billion per sports writer John Canzano of Sports Business Journal. Okay.
Yeah, again, color me shocked because Tom Dotton has been a complete dumpster fire since he bought the Trailblazers. Great owner for the Carolina Hurricanes. Even won a Stanley Cup with the Hurricanes. So no one's questioning who he is as a hockey owner. As an NBA owner, not so much. Like, I'm going to let you take lead because you know him from a hockey perspective a little bit better, but what is this guy's deal?
I don't know what the deal is, Nick, and this is what always scares me a little bit when we have owners who have their hands in so many different ownership, I like sports ownerships, like in a way like the Cronkies, for example, have their hands in the NFL. They have their hands in the NBA, the NHL, Major League Soccer, the National Lacrosse League, the EPL, with all of their endeavors. That sometimes you wonder, Nick, if there's owners out there like Tom Dundon, for example, who put more time and effort into one franchise and they leave the other one kind of high and dry. That's kind of been a little bit, I would say, some small concern that I personally have whenever the Padres do, in fact, have this sale get confirmed within the next week to, Jose E. Feliciano and his wife, Kwanzaa Jones. The fact that Jose already has ownership via his capital firm in Everton of the EPL of Chelsea, I should say, or one of the two. Does one team take the priority over the next team? And I would hope that's not the case. But this, I think, though, does happen every so often, though, Nick. And I agree, though. But then again, though, let's also forget, though, this is the same man who had the AAF's blood on its hands, though, Nick, when the Alliance of American Football collapsed after 50 days on the job, and he was the richest owner in the league to take on the payroll of all of the 8 teams, though, and then that league suspended operation after 52 days on the job. So there's that part of it. There is the part about the Hurricanes winning the Cup for the first time in 20 years. I mean, they've been building towards it, but then, though, it's the controversy. You leave off staff members who've been working for the franchise dating back to their time in Hartford, Connecticut, to put your wife and 4 or 5 children on the Stanley Cup when they did nothing to help you win the trophy in the first place. So that's probably the biggest overstep that I've seen Tom do. But I think, though, overstepping every boundary, though, Nick, in the NFL or in the NBA, I should say, though, regarding how this whole thing with the Blazers has just gone south. Now there's more reports, Nick. Are the Blazers going to be out of town, in 4 years? Their lease runs out in 4 years. And a lot of the Portland beat writers have, in a way, already begun to dig the ditch to bury Tom Dundon alive or dead in that grave because of how he is overstepping so many boundaries. Again, with that, bogus contract offer for Tiago Splitter, $1.5 million for an NBA head coach, not flying the guys that, were called up from Rip City Remix in the NBA G League saying, oh, if this is the NHL, we don't do this sort of stuff. So I get you bring mentality from one league, though, but you can't let that stop you from giving the same time and effort and energy. Nick, Isaiah and I had a saying 6 years ago when we were working and doing content together. It was called keep that same energy. If you make a take and it's wrong, keep the same energy to say, hey, I screwed up, though. Same goes for Tom Dundon. Keep that same energy. If the Canes are winning, then he should have the same energy to give back to the people of Portland who have supported this franchise since the late 60s, early 70s. Despicable.
But that's why you're seeing more teams being run by, what's the term I'm looking for?
Private
like
equity.
The Dodgers. What?
Private equity.
Yeah, private equity, where you really think those guys care? They just run businesses, or not run businesses, they invest in business. They're a piggy bank for these teams. When you have private equity or investment firms running business, do they actually care about the day-to-day operations when it comes to running a franchise? Now, we've seen guys, rich guys, running 3-4-5 franchise. Go ask the Cronkies how that's working out.
Oh yeah.
Now you have the Walmart family who wants to get involved. What was the one they wanted to buy or were interested in?
Walmart is interested now in the NBA bid for Vegas.
Which, well, by the way, we haven't even mentioned the other part of this story. That they rejected a Vegas move, the Trailblazers, didn't they?
So what SBJ reported is that Tom Dundon himself was pursuing, before he bought the Blazers, Dundon reportedly explored pursuing an NBA expansion franchise in Las Vegas before determining that the Portland Trailblazers represented a stronger long-term value at $4.25 billion. So he passed on the bid for Vegas before he bought the Blazers.
You know what, though? In the long run, did we dodge a bullet not having Tom Dundon in Vegas?
I think so.
Because the guy's cheap. He's got Mr. Krabs syndrome.
Which again,
I'll make as much money as I can.
Yeah, which again goes. Yeah, but that goes into my point, though, Nick, that if you're going to be owning multiple sports franchises, you better have the energy to put your heart and soul into both teams equally, not give one special treatment a la how Dundon or how Tom is regarding the Hurricanes. But so far with the Blazers, all he's done is alienate the former head coach and now ticked off the city, the county, and the fan base.
How about I can relate to this one, being from New York with James Dolan? Meaning, does he really, in the beginning, I think he cared more about the Rangers than he did the Knicks. Now, I think he owned the Rangers first, I think, or was it the other way around? Did he own the Knicks? But he obviously cared more about the Rangers for years. Now, that makes sense because the Rangers were a more competitive team for many decades. The Knicks finally win a title. Now, all of a sudden, he cares about the Knicks. I mean, it's despicable what Tom Dundon stands for.
James Dolan has owned both teams since '99. Neither team had favoritism, per reports.
Oh, I don't believe that for a second.
So that was when he bought both teams. That was 5 years post the Mark Messier guarantee series to beat Vancouver to win the Stanley Cup in '94, and that was the year that the Knicks lost to the Spurs in '99 in the finals, I think.
Which they got the revenge this year. But
not once, but twice, including the Callan McClurg NBA Cup final.
But my point is, I think Dundon's a terrible multi-sport owner in every way, shape, or form. If he's doing this now to the Trailblazers, what the hell is going to happen when this Vegas franchise comes in? Now, I think he goofed big time because the Las Vegas franchise is going to have way more value than the Trailblazers are going to have.
I wonder, though, would he have the money, though, by himself to pay for that exuberant $8 billion or $10 billion expansion fee?
First of all, anyone who thinks that one owner is footing the bill for an expansion fee, that's laughable. There's not like everyone says, oh, George Steinbrenner footed the bill completely for the Yankees. That's wrong.
No,
it's wrong. I think CVS originally had the franchise, and then he bought a majority, which makes him the majority decision. Same thing with Dundon. He's the majority owner of the franchise. And if I remember, I looked this up, and I want to see if I can find it. The ownership percentage for the Trailblazers. So he's 80.1% controlling stake. Oh, so he is going to own 100% of the franchise eventually.
George Steinbrenner was the head of a 12-member group that bought the Yankees from CBS for a staggering $10 million back in '73,
which was a lot back then. And now they're worth close to $8-9 billion when I last checked in valuation. But so the plan is he has 80% right now currently, and he's scheduled to have the other 19% transferred within the coming year or two.
You were close, by the way. The Yankees, per this year, per Forbes, $8.5 billion franchise value,
which is insane. Buying it for $10 million at the time, but I don't know, man. Like I don't trust. I think he's going to run this franchise into the ground. He's already having it out with the state already.
Yep. The city, the county, and the state about Moda Center.
Where they were offering a 10-year extension or something and he basically said, "Get lost. I don't want to deal with you."
Yep.
Essentially, like, how does that make any sense? It doesn't.
Nope.
I don't know how to feel about Dawden as an owner, but this guy's going to destroy a once proud organization and has a great fan base, and they're going to do bad things, and he's going to turn it into cheapy McCheapskate. And
I ain't cheap.
I'm generous. Yeah, that's literally what Tom Dawden feels like.
You almost ripped a guy's arm off over a penny.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Squidward. I could always count on you.
Yeah.
But that was kind of more off the breaking news front. All right, should we get into the show?
Yeah. What else have the carrier pigeons given us? Let's see what we got here.
So Michael Lombardi on paid administrative leave, UNC under investigation. Plus, Kyle Shanahan says he's at fault for a car crash, which, by the way, the Niners were hiding for about how many days? 7, 8, 9 days?
I think they said 11 days.
Which is insane to hide an accident for that long. So we get this news. You and I actually talked about this yesterday on ETB Sports, which would be on right now if it wasn't for the schedule change. But I think you and I are not surprised again by the whole Michael Lombardi situation. And again, we're going to have to talk about this tomorrow too. So if we're not sick of these topics by tomorrow, but Lombardi, and it's amazing. You said it well, that the black cloud follows Bill Belichick wherever he goes. It's like, when are people going to learn and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't bring this guy in anymore? Right?
Yeah. I mean, and I thought that, though, Nick, when UNC made the hire of Bill Belichick, was that this is the big name out there. It's a splashy hire. When's the last time that UNC football was even talked about in the same breath as their basketball program or field hockey or soccer? Never. And this usually happens, though, Nick, where you have that big splashy hire and it doesn't work out right away. And I think the parting shots I will never forget, Nick, was the first game that they played with Belichick at Chapel Hill. They had a huge lead. They blew it. And just watching all of the students and all the fans walk out of the stadium in the third quarter, and I started laughing my ass off.
Yeah. I mean, look, I brought it up to you yesterday on ETB Sports. He was traveling to Saudi Arabia before the season was even a thought. I think it was before the schedules were even released.
Yes.
Oh, let me go get that foreign money because we need it to do more NIL. And it's amazing, and I will keep saying this, NIL is destroying collegiate sports in every way, shape, or form. But Nick, come on, you got to value all the college athletes. And guys, they're not supposed to be there to make money. That was never the original premise of college sports. The original premise of college sports was to go in, as you would say, get an education, which is what they should, even though I guarantee you more than 70 or 80% don't, that become professional athletes. And if you get a scholarship to play sports, then good for you. You accomplish something. But that's not what happens. Now with agents and all these and their posses ending up inside the doors of the college, is it about the school anymore? Is it about the education anymore? No, it's not. This is about how fast can I make this amount of money? How fast can I ring that cash register? And when I get when we get to the NFL, I can take my endorsement deals with me now to the NFL. You saw that, right? Where college basketball players and college football players are now carrying over their endorsements. Now they don't even have to get endorsements anymore because they're showing up on the college football and on the campuses.
Yeah, and I think the first real notice of that was when Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, when she had the Gatorade sponsorship, the shoe deals, you name it, that all came from college.
Was that the whole Kobe thing also?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, she had a relationship with Kobe before he passed away.
Evil
Sponge. Take him away, take him away, take him away.
Calm down, son. It's just a drawing, not the real thing.
But NILs are destroying sports. And now it's leading to problems in the professional world. Because these young guys are heading into the NFL pompous, egotistical, like they're not rookies anymore because they're walking in with millions of dollars. Like they're already a seasoned veteran. And that's a problem. I mean, NFLs are destroying collegiate sports. I don't know what else to really say here, but Michael Lombardi is probably going to lose his job because the reports are that it was a former front office, and I can't believe we're saying this about college sports, former front office employee at University of North Carolina that probably was working for the NIL collective or something, claiming that there was alleged misbehaving going on behind the scenes and HR is involved. And when you say HR is involved, that's all that's going to happen. I don't know. How do you see this? I don't know what to say anymore. NILs are destructive.
There's not much else for me to say. You know, having worked in Division I athletics, and I'm the one that usually makes the announcements about please give your money to the NIL collective for the University of San Diego. I'm just like, there's like borderline dread that I'm even having to do that, but of course I have to, otherwise I don't get my money and I get fired. But still, at the end of the day, though, like, I mean, this is like the dark side that we're seeing, though, Nick, in real time about how, you know, college athletics has become almost unrecognizable. And I think that I saw some quote from FOS today that basically now college football is your NFL minor league system. Like you're never going to have, the USFL, whatever it's called, the UFL. That's never going to be your true pipeline for talent. Neither is the CFL. Your pipeline now for minor league football is going to be the college realm, and that, the college realm will be, in a way, doctored around like this, where kids are getting paid these lucrative, contracts, to play 1 year at one college, leave, go somewhere else, leave, go somewhere else. And, keep on, eat, drink, sleep, repeat, basically. And it never ends. Where, again, I made the point yesterday on ETB Sports that that if that's the case, then you need to be loyal to a university for at least 2 years before you can move, unless there's other circumstances like your coach gets fired and they take a job somewhere else because they brought you in to the school. And I also think, though, that if a player does leave, the school who gets them is required under my rule to give financial compensation back to the school they came from.
Well, that was the thing I had said to you originally on Press Row, that if you are given an NIL deal, if you're lucky enough to get an NIL deal, and people are going to say, oh, Nick, you're being selfish. No, if you are lucky enough, because that means the university values you for whatever money that you're going to generate, then it's like signing a contract in professional sports. To be honest, I don't think we can call college sports collegiate eligibility anymore. I just don't think we can. I think we've grossly crossed that line, dangerously crossed that line, to where you're earning money while you're supposed to be at a collegiate institution. How can you have collegiate eligibility anymore if you're earning endorsements?
And not just that, Nick, look what we've seen, though, with like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th year seniors who are like in their 30s playing college football, like the quarterback from UTSA or better yet, Trinidad Chambliss.
Yes, that's the name. I couldn't remember it, but Trinidad Chambliss, who went to the Supreme Court Like, are you kidding me? Over basically trying to collect extra NIL money to get a 6th, 7th year? That's like AARP in college years. Or it's like my pension. Like, yeah, what's next? Are we going to see NIL pensions because guys are going to...
Oh, I'm sure we will, because Stanford University is forming a players union for football starting very soon, and apparently their lawyer says that CBAs are the future of college athletics. Like, what are we doing here? Stop.
It's never going to pass. And you want to know what proof I have of that? We've seen multiple schools try to form together a union.
USC, Dartmouth.
How many have been successful so far? 0. You know why? You think schools are going to allow that?
No.
Do you know what a union, and I only know this because I know from some of my family friends, like, who've worked at supermarkets for all their lives. You have to be in the supermarket union.
Well, at least out here, it's the UCFW Local 135.
Right. So,
or UFCW, I should say, the United Food and Commercial Workers Local 135.
So when you work in a union, that means you only work a certain amount of hours. You're guaranteed this, you're guaranteed that, but then you have to follow a schedule on top of that. The school's never going to agree. The school has to agree. You can form a union all you want. If the school doesn't accept the union, then it doesn't really matter if you have a union, because the school's not going to see it. I worked in radio for 4 years. Okay. We were a union shop. I was never part of it because it was a little bit before my time. What do you think the radio station did? They killed the union.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to deal with, like, paying overtime for extra hours. By the way, in radio, when you work overnight, there's supposed to be time differential when you work overnight in radio. This is very inside baseball, but stay with me. I have a reason for saying it. So I worked 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern for almost 2 years. I didn't get any time differential pay ever. If there was a union shop inside of that, they would have had no choice.
Right.
They would have had to pay me like an extra $5 an hour, which in the long run, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot for the amount of hours I was working. What? Also, they would have had to make me full time because of the amount of hours I was working. So when you have no union, they basically said, you're going to work 37 to 38 hours a week, and we're not going to give you full time. They got away with it. That's what I'm talking about, people. The school is never going to allow a union, ever, because then that means they have to provide benefits. They have to provide this, and the other thing to be sufficient with whatever the union rules are. And it's almost like what Major League Baseball is going through right now. You're going to have to create a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement, which the school is never going to agree to. Ever. Now, I don't know, man. I think Lombardi is going to be out of the job. There's no way he survives. At least I don't think he survives, right?
No way. I don't think so.
And I'm surprised that Belichick would hitch his wheels to Lombardi. Lombardi's had some issues in the past with some stuff, so I just found that a little bizarre.
Same here.
Now, the second story here, and then we'll get to the network stuff, I promise, is Kyle Shanahan, who was in a severe car crash. And I just want to look this up just to make sure I have.
Yeah, I found it, Nick. Kyle Shanahan wanted to make clear that he was at fault for the car accident that left him with multiple serious injuries 2 weeks ago. Again, 2 weeks ago. Keep that in mind. Speaking candidly and publicly for the first time since the crash, Kyle spent about half an hour with a handful of Bay Area reporters talking about a CHP collision report that he says erroneously assigned blame to a female driver for the accident, with Shanahan saying apart on Tuesday that I hit her and don't know why it was reported that way on the collision report database. The police report doesn't say that. Shanahan then gave his full version of the events that led up to and through the collision between his Tesla Model S and the other driver's SUV, a crash that left Kyle with a concussion, broken left hand, nose, and 3 ribs as well as 40 stitches above his right eye, saying apart that I was going about 20 miles an hour, not on the phone, but I dropped my phone. It was stuck in my seats. It's on my lap and slid off. I went down to look for it and took my eyes off the road for 2 seconds. And as I was coming up, the airbags hit me in the face and they broke my nose. And then they said the visor really gashed me. I took my eyes off the road looking for my phone and my car veered into someone else. It's one of those roads where there's no forgiveness, where when I hit her, the impact was just so. I'll just never forget how violent it was, open and close quote. Now, this accident, though, folks, took place at 6:12 p.m. Pacific time, July the 14th, practically, I'd say 13 days ago.
And we're first finding out about it.
And took place near the intersection of Alma Street and Hamilton Avenue in Palo Alto, California, near Stanford University. Per the collision report, Kyle was traveling southbound with the woman traveling northbound at the time of the collision. Kyle was coming home to his home in Los Altos, California, from a chiropractic appointment in nearby Menlo Park when the accident took place. Officers on the scene told him he was traveling about 20 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone, so he was under the speed limit at least. And he did not believe the woman to be speeding either, as both drivers were moving with the flow of traffic. But Shanahan's vehicle veered off the road when he took his eyes off the road and was sent to Stanford University Hospital, where he was there for roughly 8 to 10 hours.
Okay, so just a word of the wise. Now, Callan, you don't drive, right?
No.
Okay, so I've had my license since, I forgot when you can get your license. Was it 18? I think you can get your license.
Out here, you can get it. I think out here in California, you can get your permit. I think it's 16, and then you won't be able to get your license till you're 18. I think out here in California.
So I think in New York, it's permit at 17, license at 18. At least that's what I remember from me. And I remember, even though it's cliche, but I remember when you had to take those dopey driver's ed classes, which I can't stand. But the biggest thing they tell you, number one, why was he even on his phone while he was driving?
Why is it in his lap, though, is what I would also wonder, too.
Okay, but forget that. Put that to the side for a second. But why did he even have the phone in his possession while he was driving?
Why is it not like in the cup holder attached to the dashboard in some way or what have you?
And I guess in your pocket is technically fine because you can't see it, but he was holding it in some capacity because they said it was on his lap. It fell over. Number one, and a lot of young drivers do this, and I see it all the time when I'm out driving around just to do simple things. People are like this. They're like glued to their phone while they're driving. And when you look down for 2 seconds, they even say a second.
Yes.
If you look down at your phone texting, you go the distance of a football field in 2 seconds when you're looking down at your phone. Think about that.
Yeah.
So a football field is about 100 yards.
Yeah, 100 yards, yeah.
Can you imagine going 100 yards in 2 seconds looking down at your phone? I don't understand why people think that, I could drive and hold my phone.
No.
The logic, I still can't figure this out. Like, how can you go like this and go like this and just like, I wouldn't be able to do that physically, logically. I wouldn't be able to do that.
816 from Montana, too, like California.
That's scary, man. Like, you're not even in high school yet.
Yeah.
Stuff like this is why my husband and I made the decision that I would take calls while the calls while you drive. Yeah, if there's someone else in the car, then yeah, you should. Now, for me, I have my
Bluetooth.
Well, but it also I have a what do they call it in the middle? Like mine comes up in my center on my radio. So and I push the button on my steering wheel.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it comes through. I think you've heard me. Like I've called you from the car before. I never hold my device. I don't even care. Even if I'm stopped, sometimes I will not pick it up.
No.
Or not sometimes. I never pick it up. I never pick it up. One, you don't want to, first of all, even if, like, say you're idling and you're sitting somewhere, I think you could still get a ticket if you're holding your phone because that's considered a live vehicle, even if it's in park. Because what happens if by accident I'm holding my phone and I accidentally hit the gear and then I push the pedal and I go forward? I can go through the fence.
Yeah, and you bump somebody, exactly.
So I don't know what and this is the biggest offense. The two biggest things. Cell phone, if it falls down, do you know what the biggest offense is, though? When you're driving, what distracts the driver the most? When they drop food.
That didn't surprise me.
So like the one that stupid video that they show you, they show it like someone was eating fries from the drive-through, and like it dropped in front of them, and they're instantly, oh, let me go pick it up, boom, and that's it. Like, first of all, if I'm eating in the car, which is rare, or if my mom will be driving, that's the only
Sure.
time I will eat in the car.
Sure.
But if I'm in a rush and I'm eating, if something drops on the floor, what do you think I do?
Leave it be.
Yeah. I do my best with my feet, though, to kind of like push it to one side so that it doesn't end up under my pedal. Because God forbid it sticks to the pedal and then you can't brake.
Mhm.
That's a whole different situation. That's the only thing I will do. I will kick it to one side so it doesn't get stuck. But I
Right.
will never bend down and pick it up. Ever.
No way.
Especially when you're driving, of all places. But I can't believe the girl got blamed
Yeah, I think
originally.
it's wrong.
Now, thank God, and I think Christie said it.
Yeah, thankfully, Kyle Shanahan didn't deflect the attention, and he took responsibility for his actions.
Which he should. If he's the one that was reaching out for cell phone.
Even refuting, like, why did the CHP blame her when it was my fault for this whole thing happening?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at all. But it must have been him because he's the one that took most of the brunt of the damage.
Yeah.
Because what? They said he had 3 broken ribs.
3 broken ribs, 40 stitches above the eye because the visor hit him when he collided with the vehicle and when the airbags deployed.
Which also proves...
Broke his nose.
Which also proves, by the way, that he was bending over. Because if he wasn't bending over, he wouldn't have gotten hit by the visor.
Yeah.
Unless it was like all the way out in front of the steering wheel.
I partially wonder if he may, if just before the accident, if he may have had the visor like pulled down to block the sun, too.
Maybe.
To do that.
Maybe. I don't know the full answer to that. Obviously, we won't know the full answer to that. But it's just unbelievable to me that these guys just don't think, or they think that they're above the law in a lot of regards. Now, thank God he didn't pull I can't remember the name of the coach with the Chiefs or with the Broncos. Like, that's totally deflected the whole situation. But you get guys who are big deal. Oh, I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
And didn't Andy Reid's son get arrested for a DUI for the Super Bowl because he's had like that problem of doing that?
Who?
Andy Reid's son?
I think so. Yeah. And then you had Eric Bieniemy's son, who just got arrested for shooting his mom.
Yeah.
Which I don't even want to know what goes on in that household at all. But those are kind of the from the carrier pigeon stories that flew in. I heard the bird like hit the top of my house over here, and he's
were they wearing New York City FC jerseys too?
I think so. Well, New York, New Jersey, because they claim to be from both places.
No, that's the Red Bulls who claim to be from New York, New Jersey.
All right, same difference. But
the Metro Stars.
I don't even know what to really say at this point. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's head into the war room. I'll let you kind of be the questionnaire, and I will try to answer these questions. So,
well, Nick, we're at the very end of July, entering August. Of course, the baseball trade deadline comes first, but also so does the content calendar flip for the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. Where do things stand?
All right, so a lot has happened since the last time the show was on. We've been working, you and I have been working around the clock to get schedules in place. And actually, if I go into our Slack, Tom, I think actually, or one of us, built the schedule. I have to find where did I put that in the general chat or the admin chat? It's the one where
maybe the admin. Let's go and double check.
Oh, I got it. Okay, here it is. So I started building out the schedule from Friday all the way through Sunday. Okay? And this is the football stuff, whether it's NFL or college football or sports betting as well. So we didn't have this much scheduling originally last year. We were nowhere near this amount of content. So starting Friday, Unnecessary Wagers with Connor Rowland and Nate Miller that is staying at the 5 p.m. Eastern time slot. A lot of football. Connor very involved in football. Nate very involved in football. There will be some college football, but it's going to be a lot of NFL. And then that will lead into the football forecast. Originally 6 p.m. Eastern time last year. It'll now be 7 p.m. Eastern time. But if we want to talk about analytics, the later the shows have gone, the better they've done. Also, you avoid dinner time for a lot of us East Coasters out here at 7 p.m. And 4 p.m. Pacific time is not bad either.
No. That's usually when all the first games of the day begin for baseball, the NBA, hockey, you name it. So
it works out. Friday's also a good day because it's leading into the weekend. Like, get all your stuff in for the NFL. So Johnny Montalbano, main host of that. And then it'll be myself, Tom Lovano, Zambando, and Ben Cruz. And then when we need some others, we'll have some rotatings of others. Then we head over to Saturday. Now, grab a seatbelt because this is where the craziness begins. Would you agree?
I'm hanging on to my chair for dear life.
So we start the day with our college football pregame show with Gridiron Gridlock, which will be an hour earlier. That's due to Trevor's work schedule, but it still worked out. So Gridiron Gridlock with Trevor Williams every Saturday during the college football season, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, which means Callan will be sleeping and not thinking about college football.
Yes.
Then the only non-football show, because I have to point it out just because it's inside the scheduling.
Of course.
Fight IQ Puncher's Chance with Tom Albano. That will continue. The shows have been really good. We're not going to mess with it. 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific, because the fight cards usually take place on Saturday. So we'll keep that. Between the Ropes. Sorry, 2 non-football shows. Between the Ropes with Christy Wilson. 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Then the rest of the way from Saturday all the way into Sunday is basically football mode. Forever Power 5 After Hours. But Nick, I thought there already was a Forever Power 5. What? There is. If you heard me last show, Forever Power 5, Zambando and James Myers are going to be doing Forever Power 5, which is the flagship college football show, Wednesdays from 7:30 p.m. Eastern to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And because Nick D wanted to add another show to his busy schedule of shows, he will be doing Forever Power 5 After Hours. Now, it's going to be a little TBD-ish during the season because it all depends how the games are scheduled out. It'll be the start time will be somewhere, and bear with me when I say this, between 11 p.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Eastern. What? So Trevor will bring you the before the college games, and Nick D will bring you the post after the games. So we're covered. It's almost like our own version of ESPN, like from a college game day perspective. So that's Saturday. Now we head into Sunday. Zanzinger Part 2 with Zambando and Will Charlton. Yes, you're probably wondering what happened to Noteworthy in the NCAA. Unfortunately, Will can't do Noteworthy in the NCAA. He just moved to, was it
Nebraska.
Missouri? Oh, Nebraska. Sorry. And he's going to be working 6 days a week. He came to me and said, I loved what I was doing. I'd like to do something. So I said, okay, we figured it out. He's going to be part of Zanzinger Part 2. So Zand is going to do the first half an hour, and Will is going to join for the second half an hour, and they're going to do a bunch of college football recap because that's usually Sunday's like the end of the week, usually for college football. Get ready for everything at the beginning of the coming week. The show will be 10:30, so it's a half an hour earlier, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, full hour. Only in both football seasons will it be an hour and then a half an hour earlier. Then you get a half an hour break. Go get all the errands done that you need to go get done. And then Gridiron Gurus, which is right now in Friday off-season mode, will officially go back to Sunday and be our pregame show for the 1 p.m. Eastern time window. That's Grant Winsauer, Ben Cruz, Michael Rapolo, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Don't watch your crappy CBS or Fox or whatever shows. Come watch Gridiron Gurus. We have fun. If you're looking to get away from like the X's and O's crap and like you don't want former NFL players acting like Ryan Clark telling you that they know football better than everybody else, come watch this show. I know people are going to throw tomatoes at me for making that reference. Whatever.
What?
Then, new ad this year. Winners get money. It's our newest show. That's also with James Myers. I like him already, man. I think he's got a great personality. He's got a great like look at life too. I think he's going to be great. And then his friend, this was an original podcast that James was doing outside of here with his friend David Rajano. I have to ask how to pronounce that name because I feel stupid because I didn't ask. But that will be on at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, 12:45 p.m. Pacific. Think of it as your get together before the second window, before the 4 p.m. Eastern time window starts. And the show can run as late as 6 p.m. Eastern time, meaning they're going to get you ready for the first 15 minutes with all bets and props and over-unders and all your favorite bets. And then they're going to stick around. Now, we can't show the games because we're not playback anymore, but they're going to stick around and they're going to kind of do some NFL red zoning. And they're going to... You never know, someday. But they're going to stick around as late as 6 p.m. Eastern, and they're going to kind of do the, as you like to say, the grand circle tour of the second NFL Sunday second window. And then to finish off the day, the ETB Lounge.
Yay.
With this guy over here.
Hi.
Nick DiMartino, Connor Rowland, and David Waitman. Those are the regulars. And then there'll be a smattering of other people that will be rotating through that cast. So that is the long weekend for football content. Yes.
Carrier pigeons have arrived at my window, sir.
Oh, what? Oh, I saw this. Live Golf to cancel $40 million season. They don't have any money. Bye-bye. No. No. Hey. Goodbye. So,
All right, get Alan Shipnuck on the press row line. Let's go.
we might have to. I have his email. Speaking of press row, remind me of something I have to mention about press row in a little bit.
Ah, yes.
But give me your reaction to what I just laid out, and tell people like what to expect, because this is a lot I just dropped on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best time of the year. I will, admit that with full respect for what the NFL and college football is, though I don't approve of it, nor do I care for it. But it is, though, where, a lot of people come over the course of their fall and spring and you name it. And more importantly, I think, though, Nick, especially with how content has grown, I think, for football all year round now, at this rate. but also, especially, I think, though, now that you factor in so many things involving, where gambling is gone, where wagering content is gone, and that now you can attack it, though, from so many different angles, with Trevor in the morning, for example, on Saturday with Gridiron Gridlock. Then you've got, the after hours program for FP5 starting on Saturdays, mixed in, though, with, Tom again with, UFC and MMA still happening on Saturdays, BTR, with there being PLEs for WWE on Saturday still, including coming up from Minneapolis for a 2-day event for SummerSlam, for example, that, there is so much content coming that, of course, Sundays are going to be just absolutely loaded. And I think, though, that is a great thing, though, especially, Nick, when you're a part of a network, though, chasing these milestones, those we'll talk about more here, in a bit, that, this becomes an absolute content goldmine over the next, 6 months, 8 months?
6 to 8 months. And then actually it travels into college basketball.
Right.
Too. So I don't want to forget that standpoint. By the way, thank you to the 300 plus people who are in here watching. Gladly appreciated. Thank you for everybody that's enjoyed the show. A lot of positive feedback I've gotten from some people that they actually like learning about the inside of the dungeon.
Pit of misery. Dilly.
Yeah. But is it going to be a tall task to complete this content schedule? Sure. But that's why we're an admin team of 4. And we're doing our best to kind of split the work up and bring it all together, which we're getting into. Also, I see the last thing on the bottom too. The ETB Fantasy Football League also. And so we are going to have an ETB Fantasy Football League. We're probably going to have at least 10 people in it. And then we're going to be doing what's called an ETB Survival Pool. Not Survivor Pool, because the WWE would come after us for copyright infringement.
Clown show! Clown show! Clown show!
Brian is a clown show. And we know you have a football team. Anyway.
I don't have a football team, but you do have a football team.
I'm an Oakland Raiders fan. Anyway.
I'm jumping up and down. I'm so giddy.
But yeah, we are doing
something.
Yes, so we have a fantasy football league. You're going to see a ton of content from that too, which is going to show up on did I leave out a show too? Oh no, I mentioned Football Night on the Bench last week.
Correct.
Which that also coincides with our football scheduling on Thursday Night Football as well. So you're going to get so much freaking content, which is going to cover Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. Friday, you're going to get our pick shows. There's so much freaking football content that you guys better come watch and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check it out, because you're not going to want to miss it. I promise you. But yes, fantasy football, we are going to do a stream, and we might have Callan just do the live voicing just for the sake of it, like right at the beginning.
I would love to do a draft lottery to see who determines the pick.
I'm in.
Picks.
I'm in.
I got 10 bottle caps. I can write people's names on the front of it, and we can go from there.
Yes, I'm in.
I will not be pulling a David Stern involving Patrick Ewing, though. You can guarantee that.
Yeah, don't put it in envelopes. That might become a controversy. But what else was I going to say? Oh, the survival ETB survival pool. Take that, WWE. I found a way around the loophole. So much content that your head will explode. Yeah, that's true. And no, we're not talking about slamming people on the mat, making your head explode.
No.
But yeah, the ETB survival pool is going to be a typical survivor pool, but we got a twist involved in the survivor pool. We're not using ESPN. We're not using Yahoo. We are using ESPN for our fantasy.
What?
But for this, we found a site that allows you to twist and make some rule changes to a survivor pool.
Excellent.
So the way it's going to work is you still pick teams for survivor, whether they win or lose, you still can't pick those teams again. That's the only time
Right.
you can pick. But in this Survivor pool, you get 3 lives.
You get 3 strikes and then you're out?
Yeah, so basically the earliest you could be out is after week 3. If you get 3 wrong, you wouldn't make it to week 4. But you're guaranteed.
That would be me anyway. So
You're guaranteed to make it to week 4 in some way, shape, or form.
I like that idea.
So we are going to have a lot of fun. You're going to see that content show up on Football Night and on the bench. Tom will share some of that content, like what's going on in our fantasy league and our Survivor pool and all the stuff that we have going on. They'll also preview small amounts to get us ready for the next football forecast that comes up on Friday. So there's so much football coming out of your ears that you're going to start throwing yellow flags, like just like penalty, too much content going on. So
my God!
That's kind of that scenario. Like I said, college football, you have plenty of stuff, like I said. And you'll get Zan talking on Bando's breakdowns, a lot of college football and college basketball. And so we're covered. I promise you, we are covered this time around. Any more questions before we move on?
I think that's it for this portion of the program, Nick. How about we go to the Blacksmith's Forge? All things 3,000 watch hours coming soon.
Yeah, so we've been on the mad dash for this scenario. And you know what? I'm gonna do something for the first time I haven't done in a long time. And I'm gonna pull up. I'm not gonna put it on screen, but I will. We're gonna discuss our watch hours. So if I go into our section here, we have 2,750 watch hours right now.
2750.
We are 250 hours away. So I'm going to sound like a broken record, but go subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB network. Go and watch our programs. What the blessing of being live, the shows are instantly ready for replay.
That
right
is a
after they
factual
air.
statement. You don't have to worry about waiting another day or two. You get it right as soon as the show goes off the air.
So, Nick, I missed football forecast on Friday, and can I watch it on Saturday?
It's already there?
You can watch it technically when the show ends on Friday night if you want.
Yeah.
It's instant gratification. That's the new buzz phrase in the content podcast world. I need instant gratification. I need to be able to watch if I missed my favorite show. Well, it'll be ready. Forever Power 5. Oh, I missed the college picks and stuff. Can I watch it on Thursday? Just make sure you watch it before the games, or watch it on Wednesday night. Or you're on the West Coast and you can stay up later. Watch it later. Everything is available. It's instant gratification, which is allowing us to get to the goals we need to get. Now, you've been very high energy on this, so I'm curious to hear your thought process on this 3,000 watch hour journey a little bit and where this is going, because you and I have had a lot of conversations about this.
Is this one of those things, Nick, where you wish you were going live when this thing first started and maybe you would have gotten to 3,000 and 4,000 already?
Oh, we would have been there already. We would have been there. At least 3,000. I can't say about 4,000 because it's still a little bit of a journey away. But what I can say is I wish we went live sooner. It also saved us time. Because I had and you know this from me sitting there. Who edited every show?
You did.
Every show. I had to spend the time putting in all the intros and the outros and the graphics and all that stuff. Now we just do the shows live and I don't have to do that anymore.
You just wing it, baby. That's all we do. No, I'm kidding. We don't wing it. But yes, it's literally hit the start button, play the 5-minute video, play the intro, then you go and do your show or do your shift for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, what have you, and then you call it a day.
The thing is, eventually we need to get to a point probably where we need to put outros in to be played because it looks awkward when you're just like you're just sitting there waiting for it to end. But you know what? We're on track. We are literally on track. Now we're going to be very close before the football season to the goal.
I know Zan said on the first show that he thinks that we'll get to 3,000 or 4,000 by Halloween.
I don't know about that. That's because right now we're about trying to do math 1,250 hours away from 4,000.
I think we'll get to 3,000 before Halloween. I don't know about 4K though. By the end of the year, that would be great. Like New Year's Eve, maybe.
It has to be before the end of the year, or else it resets. But we just got to keep going. I tell everybody here, Instagram stories. Don't just share my Instagram story from the network. That doesn't do anything. That's like sharing a carbon copy and not having a link to click on.
Heartless, gutless, fucking shit, most godless, fucking gutless, fucking team.
Oh, shut up, you. Your Mets suck. Speaking of Frank the Tank for the second, did you watch the video eventually of what I said yesterday where
I did not, but I will get to it eventually.
So he goes on and he says, oh, well, they won. They beat the crap out of the Braves, but the game just doesn't matter. What kind of Met fan are you?
Because the Knickerbockers won the NBA title.
Yeah, he's a fraud. He's a Net fan, and he turned himself into a Knicks fan. That's savage. That's
imagine you doing that.
I can't do that. As much as the Nets suck ass right now. Ugh. All right, we're off track a little bit, but tell me what this journey has been like just from the time we made or I was kind of recommending the switch and you kind of jumping on board to help me get it up and going on the live side.
Yeah, I mean, I think, though, that's kind of like, we always talk about sometimes you get put into a box sometimes. And I kind of was noticing that a bit of just like the extra layer of stress and, hours that were being put in. I'm like, okay, because at the time it's like certain shows were live, like Press Row was live because of it. Of like just the nature of it. And I'm sitting here though, joining, this time, back in April of last year, like, man, with as quickly as the sporting news cycle operates, talking about it on one day and then you wait 48 hours to put out the content just didn't quite like feel right, I'd say. Because I think, as you've made the mention, Nick, though, so many times that sports fans like us, we're so hell-bent in a way on having the instant reaction.
Just, we have to swipe for everything. Yeah. But 2 days for a turnaround of a show is just not acceptable in some people's eyes. Like, and then you would have the curse of moving the goalposts, where every time they would do a show, like a half an hour of it would get wiped out because the news would change. I mean, could that technically still happen in some capacity? Yeah.
Oh, sure. But now I think, though, that whenever news does break, as we'll talk about here in a minute, now we're able to recover much more better, I'd say, than being stuck in like the Stone Ages of, well, we better pre-record everything and then go from there.
Yeah, it had to end. Like the recording stuff, it was too much for me to turn around and then do the shows. Now everything is already preset up. Everything is all ready to go.
Yeah, now it's just you do the program, and then all you have to do after that is just mark down timestamps for social media clips to keep the convo going in between shows.
Right. So it just made sense from a time perspective to make everything live. Now, do you want to kind of dig in a little bit to what we're thinking once that goal kind of hits?
Yeah, I mean, there's some ideas for a bunch of like bonus content that would be for like members only or behind the 3,000 watch hour paywall. Again, that also unlocks merch lines. That also unlocks the badges, super stickers, and super chats that, again, was kind of popular a little bit on playback when Jen would join us, for example, and they had the power chat feature, which again was like, you kind of in a way got your comment moved up to the front of the line basically, and that money goes into our kitty and piggy bank essentially. So there's ideas for every program in some way to have some kind of bonus content, just depending on time schedules and ideas are lined up for that sort of thing to come down the pipeline. Regarding Press Row having their bonus hour, Cranium having a bonus hour, or mainly, I wouldn't really say like a bonus hour, but like just like bonus content, I think is the right way to go about it.
Some interviews maybe that just don't make the show. Certain topics if they don't make the show, because you and I could ramble on for 5 hours on Press Row, and we'd look up at the clock and say, "Oh my God, it's 4 hours. What happened?" I could see that now being like bonus content in a lot of ways. And we have, one of these is not a paywall show. Do you want to talk about the one that you and I are kind of a little giddy-ish on getting up off the ground?
Oh, that would be, is that ETB locked in?
Yeah.
So yeah, the premise behind this is, I believe, Barstool After Dark.
Yeah.
Is the main premise of it. But because we can't do this in person, we've had to, in a way, finagle this into a remote broadcast, like all of our shows are, because no one lives in the same area except for maybe Nick, both Nick and Nick living close by to each other, and
Tom,
James and myself living close by to each other, Tom living close by to Nick and Nick at night. And so what we're thinking of doing here is a inmates running the sports asylum program, where these two gas bags on your screen would be the two guys in charge of running this sports asylum. And the only way for the inmates or our fellow host and even you, the fans, to break out of this and like escape the jail is to solve sports puzzles. That involves the Immaculate Grid, that involves Sporkle, the connections puzzles in the New York Times with The Athletic, maybe even a spelling bee to spell ridiculously long sports names out there like Jared Saltalamacchia. But anything, though, Nick, that could bring people in like we have right now here to get more engagement in our chat box. Again, with what we talked about, I think a couple of shows ago about, having a professional auditor look over the channel, for example, about where we're, hitting and missing. But I also think, though, to further grow a community, though, Nick, people, I think, also love, like the blind rankings, for example, of certain things. I think that there is one channel I follow, I think Giraffe Neck Mark, I think, who's a Mets fan, or he does some like video game content and like some ranking stuff, though. So like we kind of, have built the premise around that, but also that, you can't use your phone. You can't leave the room or leave your desk to go use the bathroom, for example, because this is like you're being watched in a, maximum security sporting prison. And the only way that the show ends or stream ends is if you finish everything without, is that you finish everything. You get through the gauntlet of what we laid out, though, with Sporkle, with Immaculate Grids, with, other things, though. And that, the viewers can also chime in and, give their questions or, give their answers, only, though, once per hour. I mean, this could go 90 minutes, Nick, or it can go 9 hours at this rate.
Well, I hope it doesn't go that long, but I like the concept. It's a great, if you watch Barstool After Dark, I'm a Barstool fan. I watch a lot of stuff from them. But what's great about this is it's like the way Barstool does it, because they have content houses in Chicago and New York. Most of this is done in Chicago because it's a much bigger facility than New York is. And they basically put everybody in a room. One of the ones I loved watching was they did a challenge where, because they're sponsored by DraftKings, they had a golf cart, like a nice size golf cart.
Yeah.
And everybody had to put a hand on the golf cart. And it was for a nice size, like cash prize. I don't remember what. I think it was like 25 or 50,000. And whoever was the last person holding on, and this went on for like days. So like people were like limited on their content that they normally do because they were holding onto a golf cart for days on end. They had a porta potty in there. You were allowed to use the bathroom, like all that stuff. But
they're allowed to eat and drink.
Yeah, like they would bring stuff in, but then they would do like little twists like to give like people an advantage if they want a small challenge, like in the room. Like, but this went on for like days upon days upon days. But it was like for a $50,000 prize. So the premise was kind of, now we're going to have to kind of finagle a little bit because people are not going to be allowed to turn their screens off
Yes.
or mute themselves. But because when they're in the same room, you can watch everybody at the same time. This we can't. But I like the concept of the show doesn't end until the last situation is fixed. Now, we're not going to be jerks and say
No.
if you mess up a challenge, you have to go all the way back to challenge 1.
No, you just have to go back to level to the start of the section of the gaming structure that you're in. So you don't have to go all the way back to level, to start off. You could just go back to the whatever you're on. You go back to the first one.
What was that other idea I had come up with also? The keys. Do you remember?
Yes.
What did I say that was for again? Like if they win challenges, they can earn a key to avoid. I wouldn't say a full challenge, but maybe certain.
Yeah,
like
it's basically like a do-over, basically.
No, I would say like a dungeon key. They were called dungeon keys, and like say you don't like a certain part of a full challenge, like because there's going to be multiple steps or multiple parts to finish a challenge. So you could say, all right, I'm using a dungeon key to avoid this.
Sporkle. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying maybe not for that one, but like say you have one that has like 4 different parts to make up a challenge. You could say, I don't want to do step 2, or I don't want to do step 3. I don't know if that's how you had it in mind, or if it's just.
We're still working on the format, but that's not until we get to 3,000 watch hours.
I just think that one would be I want to see Nick D being stuck in a room. That would make me laugh. I don't know. Of our group, who do you think would be funny in those being trapped in a room?
Well, I feel like Tom and Johnny would be sneaky funny.
Well, Tom can handle it. I'm not worried about that. Johnny, I think, can handle it too. But I'm trying to think like who would be from like who would get angry funny, if you know what I mean. Like who would that? I think that would be Nick D. I think for sure.
I'd say him. Christy could be funny, angry at times too.
I think that would be great. There's so many. I think that one. Yes.
I mean, I could be too, and I could just tuck water bottles like Don LaGreca.
You and I purposely are going to like twist the wheels a little bit also. So like
excellent.
we might add some duality while the challenge is going on, saying you might have to complete an extra thing if you don't finish a challenge in a certain period of time either.
I did.
Surely you jest. But yeah, that's one idea we've talked about. A lot of shows will have bonus content. Funny enough, with Christy being in here, like I've said to her, maybe we do watch-alongs. Maybe like once a month we do an extended show. And you take it into the beginning, maybe the first 15, 20 minutes of
PLE with AEW, maybe WWE, who knows?
I keep forgetting which one it is. Is it Revolution or
AEW Collision?
Collision, sorry. I think they had Revolution. They got rid of that, right? I think. But
I think so.
I think that would be interesting for the show. Oh, Collision. Yeah, Collision.
Only on TNT.
TNT.
Okay, ACDC.
It's one of my favorite. Well, the only reason I know it is because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the video game.
I know a different AC/DC song for a former Major League closer.
Oh, yeah, well. Oh, I was right. Revolution is a pay-per-view. Okay.
Close
So
enough.
I know they got rid of one of them. I couldn't remember which, but
Dynamite.
that's right. But I don't know. So what else do you see? Because we have a little bit of time to
Yeah, I mean, so locked in's one thing. I think I have the working doc of what we've been trying to potentially do here.
There's a lot on that list.
I mean, there is a lot, again, like bonus hour for ETB Sports, bonus hour for Cranium. Oh, it was Rampage that got canceled.
That's it.
Rampage.
That's the one that was technically taped right after one of the big AEW shows.
I think so, yeah. I'm going back to try to find the what we conjured up here. So, for example, I believe, Nick, that we talked about a potential like opening the vault with yourself and Tom to look back at the whole network history.
Oh, actually, Empty the Legacy was the name of the show. I have a graphic for it. That's kind of a little bit of a spin-off of like this, a little bit in a sense, but that would be more of like the whole network history in a sense. But that one's going to have to wait until we grow bigger and we can be financially stable.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, this show was actually going to be a part of the 3,000 watch hour content, and it might move there at one point eventually as time goes on. So there was that one. ETB Locked In, we already talked about that. Maybe a bonus hour for the lounge. Again, all these are just ideas. Press
but
row
that would be separate. But that would be separate. The fourth hour.
Yeah,
the third hour. Sorry.
Yeah, that'd be something again for Press Row, Cranium, more with ETB Sports. One of them that may or may not blossom was one involving myself, involving maybe Ben Cruz as well, involving sports memorabilia and card collecting as well, because I collect a lot of shit.
I have a lot of stuff too. That card collecting is huge, except for on TikTok, where apparently Fanatics and the NFL and TikTok, Fanatics, and the NFL basically are now getting sued.
Yeah,
because remember, you and I were talking about how big card breaking was on TikTok, and now I don't see it.
Yeah, but it still lives on because I still follow a bunch of friends of mine who are in the community who are card collectors who still do their stuff on YouTube.
But it's not. I don't see it as much anymore on TikTok. Like TikTok kind of got a little bit in the weeds, if you know what I mean. In a controversy,
and Christy is one of those too when it comes to action figures for wrestling.
Well, what are those other things called? Funko Pops. She collects Funko Pops. I have a
couple of Funko Pops. I got a bunch of bobbleheads, bunch of old jerseys.
I heard that's like a big thing, like the Funko Pops. Like they can be worth some money.
Yeah, bobbleheads are a huge thing in sports too.
Like I'm a memorabilia card collector. I've showed you the book before. Like I have autographs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I have one of my favorite cards right here of the legendary Walter Payton right here.
Oh wow. Show that to
Mr.
Grant
Winsauer and
Michael
Mr. Rapolo
and Zan and Will.
Here, take a picture of it. There you go.
It's all good. We can get it out afterwards. But yeah, no, we are on track now to do a lot of things, and now when we hit 3,000, that will allow us to hit some monetization and stuff.
We also were thinking of members only members only streams too, for like a behind the scenes Q&A kind of in a way, or like another bonus hour. But also, Nick, I think the other big thing too that we've long discussed though when I first kind of helped out or first got here at one point is the 24-hour charity marathon.
Oh, that was a big thing like that I had been discussing with Tom originally, and then we kind of blew it dead because there was really no way to do it originally. We were going to do it on playback at some point, then they went away. Now that we have YouTube, we would just have to break it up into 2 12-hour streams, because I think that's the longest you can go on YouTube without it shutting off.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's the case. They should just allow you to stream as long as you want. But yeah, that's one we have in the works. But it's going to be hard to get everybody together. That's the biggest
ordeal
hurdle. But we could pre-tape some stuff from people to help get through it. It might make sense to do it in the summer, also when people are off. So yeah, that's something that I still want to do. What was the name of the organization I was really what I wanted to do? Oh, like the My Wish stuff.
Yeah, Make-A-Wish, all that good stuff, yeah.
And then, I wanted to include the one because of the fires in California.
Red Cross relief efforts, which, by the way, they're facing a massive blood shortage. And I got a thing I got a letter in the mail that you might be needed to come and donate blood pretty soon.
Have you always done that or no?
Always have, yeah.
I get nerved even when I have to go for a blood test.
Yeah, I've been used to it. I don't mind it.
But those are the two big ones I'd like to look at.
Normally, I only go to the blood drive if it's like for Padre tickets. So I went to the summer one last summer before Rodney passed. So I went to it and I got a pair of tickets to watch the Padres play the Mets. Actually, I think last summer.
Are they good tickets or no?
They're decent sized tickets. I mean, they're in the upper level. It's usually for like a day game on a Wednesday afternoon.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, all that though was led, and this will be like a cool plug, which for small market. I think a lot of people remember, maybe don't remember, former Charger kicker Rolf Benershka. By chance, Rolf, of course, played here in San Diego for a long time. But Rolf was the first athlete I could think of that had suffered from Crohn's disease before people really knew what Crohn's was. Because there was a story, Nick, I think in the late 80s, when the Chargers were coming home from playing the Patriots in Foxborough. On the flight home, Rolf had collapsed on the plane in the aisle. They had to rush him off the jet when they got back to Lindbergh Field here and rush him to the hospital. And that's when they found out he had ulcerative colitis and Crohn's. And he had to wear like the bags, the chest, like the stomach bags. And the famous photo of him being walked out to midfield by Louis Kelcher when they played Pittsburgh at home, made its rounds though. And then he came back and was at one point the all-time Charger point leader in history. He's the reason why that the blood bank here in San Diego has gotten so much publicity for all the right reasons. Then, of course, the Chargers had their blood drive that was massively followed here for so long. They would give out shirts every year, and Rolf would show up and shake the hands of people who would show up. And now that lives on with the Padres blood drives. And Rolf's been a great ambassador for the blood bank, but also Rolf Benershka is now the chairman of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance because his dad, Dr. Peter Benershka, was a renowned zoologist here that worked at the zoo in the Wild Animal Park. And the Benershka family has their name on one of the bird aviaries at the zoo in downtown. And Rolf used to donate money after he would kick field goals for a foundation called Kicks for Critters back in the day, because his dad was a huge, well-known, respected zoologist here in town. So it's funny, Nick, about how, we remember athletes for certain things, but then you hear the story of what Rolf went through, though, battling Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. And then here he is now all of a sudden, being this great ambassador for this great city of San Diego. But now he makes it a point to go to all these blood drives, Nick, and shake the hands of people who donate their blood to, for triage and for, whatever. And especially now, Nick, that the news even said the Red Cross is now facing a nationwide shortage in blood. Get out there and donate if you can.
You know what it made me think of when you were talking about the animals, or the zoo? Oh, what's her name? Jane Goodall.
Oh, yes.
Because she was the one that was famous, going on all the shows and talking about the protection of monkeys, right? Like and that wildlife.
Jane Goodall was instrumental when Disney wanted to build Animal Kingdom in Orlando, because there was a lot of public backlash about Disney's going to put a zoo out here. But Jane Goodall said, no, they're gonna do this the right way. And I know, Nick, that you know very well as I do from when I've gone there. It's been 5 years, but Disney does have licensed, registered, nurses and animal caregivers and animal nurses.
It's an animal sanctuary,
on the property every day of the week, 24/7.
Yeah, they run it 24/7 around the clock. They're taking care of all the animals, and that's what I mean. I still question whether doing the tour, going through all the different areas, is safe. I don't know. Because aren't you kind of like disrupting habitats by doing that when you're driving through, when you're on those tours?
Oh, like the Kilimanjaro safari at Disney at Animal Kingdom. I mean, kinda. I mean, the Wild Animal Park here, the safari park here, but it's the Wild Animal Park. They have a similar thing. I actually happen to know a friend of mine who played baseball for my dad. He is one of the lead doctors on the property with the wild animal park, safari park, whatever the hell they call it. That he cares for the rhinos and the giraffes and the hippos at the park, and he's always sharing photos of all the creatures that are there. Same goes with SeaWorld San Diego. It's literally right down the hill from my house. I can hear the fireworks every night. And they're, I mean, I can, because I live like right above the park, but in a way about 20 minutes away from it though. But I mean, you go there, like for me, I go there for the beer and for the rides, like for SeaWorld. But I also, I have like it's not even a superstition. The first animals I have to see when I go to SeaWorld, for example, is the penguins. Every time I go there. And they're kind of in the back of the park though. They've got a bunch of, but also I think the cool part about that, they actually make the penguin habitat match Antarctica. So they're on the polar opposite of what we are up here. So right now you can go to the park right now here in San Diego. It is, let me see. It is, it is currently 77 degrees here in San Diego at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And more importantly, the habitat for the penguins down there, Nick, is on Antarctica time. So they're below the equator. So that means it's winter time, it's freezing cold, and the lights are out down there to maintain that it is their actual habitat, and that they don't throw them for a loop, essentially. But outside of the interior aquariums, they have Magellanic penguins who live at the tip of South America. They can live without needing like cold weather. They can swim around and whatnot. So they're always the first group of animals I go and see. And I've not been to the zoo in forever, but of course the pandas have come back here from China, and the wait times are like 90 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes or whatever, because people here have long loved the panda bears here in San Diego. They've been a part of the advertising campaigns forever. And I remember, and this is a cool little tidbit, when I was in fourth and fifth grade, the city schools, Nick, required us to do a full week of class in Old Town, San Diego, right down the hill from my house here, where I live up in the city. So we did a whole week of stuff down there. So that was like the Whaley House, for example, all of the homes that were made out of adobe bricks and stuff, and the trolley system. So all that was a week down in Old Town. By fifth grade, you did a whole week of study at Balboa Park. So that was natural history. That was the Science Center, the zoo, the Automobile Museum, Air and Space, the Hall of Champions. For that went up in flames, and well, not in flames, but they moved it out of there for Comic-Con, for the Comic-Con Museum. But that you got a chance to experience your city from that perspective about where things were at. So by fifth grade, being in Balboa Park every day, you're smelling the eucalyptus from the zoo because the classrooms are right by the zoo. So, you got to go to the zoo, see all the kangaroos, whatever. So, I mean, the feeling, though, of like driving through like the safari, for example, I mean, it's a little interesting, though. But when I was in Florida at Animal Kingdom, and we went by the giraffe encampment where all the giraffes were at, and, you're going on this bumpy road, and there's like 3 of them walking towards the vehicle. And our driver even said, ladies and gentlemen, get your phones out. This is extremely rare that the animals come this close to the vehicle. So I have a bunch of pictures where I was sitting of this giraffe walking towards the vehicle. And I'm like, hi, long lost cousin. Good to see you.
I'm assuming, though, the rule is still in place that you're not supposed to feed and all that
don't
stuff.
feed. No feeding.
Well, I would hope that's a rule, because you have no idea what they're giving to these animals. But
Exactly.
I would be too worried, like if they started walking up to the moving vehicle. Ah! I'm like, no.
I'd be afraid if it was like a tiger or the water buffalo charging towards you.
Well, they don't have those there, I'm hoping, right?
They have water buffalo. Yes, they do. I recall getting pictures of them. Yes.
Jeez.
Elephants.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's important. We'd like to do these charity efforts. It's going to take a king's ransom just to.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
You're welcome. For a 24-hour charity stream, but I'd like to do like the My Wish stuff, or
yeah, Make a Wish Foundation's a good one.
Make-A-Wish Foundation or the
Speaking of the giraffe, I found a photo that I took of one of the giraffes. Hang tight here for a sec, folks. Yes,
Oh,
this is
no.
where you're getting your Nat Geo education today inside the content dungeon. There you
Well,
go.
unfortunately,
There's Jeffrey the giraffe right there.
wait, Jeffrey the Giraffe, is this Toys R Us?
Maybe.
Please tell me you got that reference.
Yes. I grew
Okay.
up going to Toys R Us like every Saturday.
Yeah, me too.
It's my almost cousin.
Wow, that is a tall one too.
American Heart Association's one for Christy.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, an elephant.
Hey, don't talk about people like that. Oh boy. But yeah, that's kind of the inner workings as we get closer to 3,000 watch hours. The locked in show should be amazing. I think that'll be a cool thing. And eventually, if we get a sponsor, sports book, potentially, we can offer prizes for potentially if you get out of the dungeon, or we can also do a version of Locked In where one person has to survive.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Imagine that. And you have to do challenges the whole time. And then if it becomes too long, like if you get eliminated, then you're out. Eventually.
Eliminated.
And I'm telling you hey, the lounge is not open yet. It's too early.
We never closed it on Sunday.
Yeah. Whose fault is that? Well, whose fault is that?
Hi. I wanted to go to bed on Sunday. I've been very sleep deprived, taking care of his dog for 9 more days.
That's almost like, speaking of, I just heard him in the background. Gotta love Ozzy.
Yes.
But no, we have a lot to look forward to, and we're on track to finally hit monetization, which is a good sign, and will allow us to be a little more flexible to do stuff going forward. And like a certain somebody who will never be monetized with this content ever, take that.
Here's a good one, Nick.
What?
As we unfold the scrolls of analytics. And this happens a lot, though. And I think this is why I think that the pivot going from pre-recording everything to going live is so huge. How ETB can instantly pivot production lineups when unexpected sports news or earthquakes, like LeBron's move to Philadelphia, derails a show rundown and even disrupts our flow of the day for scheduling.
I mean, I can tell you where I was at the gym when the news all of a sudden broke at about 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So you probably weren't even awake yet when the news hit. But yeah, we find out LeBron is ring chasing in Philadelphia. 2-year deal, $8 million with a player opt out after year one. We had a rush. David Waitman and myself got on as soon as I could get home. We did all that, and then our live shows following it, covered the news and did some reaction and all that stuff. But you know what? Breaking news doesn't conform to your schedule.
Never.
And I think people forget that too, where it's called breaking news for a reason. Meaning when it happens, you have to scramble and be ready for it. How many times did you and I do breaking news streams during the WNBA potential lockout period?
We've done, those come to mind. LIV Golf nearly imploding under its own weight. Comes to mind. Brendan Sorsby getting not getting the first injunction also comes to mind. For me, I think the most one that does stand out for me is Jaylen Brown being traded to the Sixers from Boston. That was in the middle of like a regular news day for us. We were, I think, did we already do press row that day, or were we doing something? No, it was before a World Cup match for Team USA.
Yeah, it wasn't a PR day, no.
So I think it was definitely a World Cup match day for Team USA. And you and I were already in StreamYard doing something,
Yes.
Usually, we have a lot of, meetings that we do, shoot the shit a little bit and then get some work done. But then all of a sudden I checked my phone and I see an ESPN notification from Shams, breaking news. Jalen
And I was
Brown's
like, what? When you said it, I was like, no way.
Yeah, and I like screamed like, Jalen Brown's been traded to Philadelphia. We got to get on this.
And I think I said to you, at first I didn't believe it. I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, and then I had to go to my phone like we all do now. And I had to make sure it was the right Shams because now we have no idea.
Believe me, it came from the ESPN app. Believe me.
No, but I'm just saying, like when you go to check social media and you want to make sure it's the right Shams Charania because there's so many fake Shams Charania accounts out there. And it's like, oh shit. I'm like, there's the news. So now we had to drop everything we were doing. And I think Ben almost blew a gasket that day as a Celtics fan.
I mean, I could have told you that.
I don't blame him, by the way. I think I think the Celtics just totally sold him out for pennies on the dollar. But
1,000%.
The NBA offseason is probably, would you say, is the big winner so far from a value standpoint?
Yes.
Like between all the moves, you had the Giannis trade, the Jaylen Brown trade, obviously the Kawhi news, which would be a trade if they ever, God forbid, figure that out with aspiration.
Aspiration.
And then obviously LeBron signing. I think the NBA has had one of their better offseason, what would you call it? Offseason media showings, 1,000%. I think. Because usually the NBA doesn't do very well in the offseason, except for free agency.
Right. That's usually like what, one day out of the summer on July 1st, usually?
It's like a couple of days, like you have what do they call it? The non-tampering period, which I think is so stupid, by the way, because it's really just, it is tampering, but they just say it's non-tampering. But they've had an incredible offseason. And I'll tell you right now, I think baseball is going to have an incredible offseason content schedule.
Wait till those streams start up. Oh, God.
Because usually when the season ends, that's the end of the season, which is usually like first week of November if the World Series goes that late. But if there's lockout streams, it's not going to end. And I don't know if you saw the quote or like Tom put it on Slack. What?
The Carrier Pigeons are bringing baseball injury news to the forefront.
I don't know. What?
Recently acquired Red Sox player Curtis Mead, IL, broken wrist.
Yeah, he got hit in the wrist by a pitch.
Wop, wop, wop.
Trying to think. Jeter almost had that injury. I think he used to get hit by a pitch so much. What was I saying, though? Now I don't remember. What were we talking about?
How the news day around here gets interrupted when there's breaking news.
Right, but I don't remember the exact thing I was saying just now. But basically, just it's tough. Like breaking news is tough, and just trying to stay on top of it. And we have to make adjustments sometimes. Now, with having a live schedule, now like one of us can type into whoever's on live and just say, "Hey, this news broke." How many times have I typed into you guys for Lounge in the background in our Slack channel and say, "Hey, this broke. You might want to hit this because then it becomes potential clip content."
Right.
Which, by the way, I haven't even looked. I need you to look at Lounge after we're done, like for clips, because I need it. Even if you could find one or two, like that's another thing. Like we're constantly taking our live shows and making shorts and stuff. So like we continue to grow our YouTube platform and our other social media. So people need to keep that in mind too. Like when breaking news happens with LeBron, we don't do it as much for the breaking streams because that's reacting in the moment. But
and then you can pretty much guarantee that once the news breaks, like LeBron, for example, it will be discussed on every show. So Lounge already talked about it. ETB Sports talked about it. We'll talk about it more on Cranium on Tuesday night. PR might, from a business perspective, talk about it. Goalpost will talk about it. So once that news breaks, then everybody here gets their chance, I think, Nick, which I think is great. Everybody's to put their stamp of approval on it, though, from their perspective.
Yeah, which is important. I mean, trying to react to the news as fast as possible, being in a 24/7 industry and being able to react to news is important because, again, the way we were doing it a while ago, where like, for instance, like we would record ETB Sports on Monday, and it wouldn't come out until Wednesday. We drop a promo on Tuesday. Like, we just got rid of all that extra work and said, why don't we just go live and do the show? It makes it
Call
so
it a
much
day.
easier. So, yeah, I mean, analytically, sometimes it's hard because you have to find the right title for people to find what you're doing. I mean, heck, the first, what was it, the first episode of Content Dungeon? What was that, the 1900 views, or was that the second episode?
Episode 2 last week.
Yeah, so episode 2. What was the big story that we were talking about that
The
caused
ESPN layoffs.
Oh, right. So it all depends on, I mean, 1900, it's going to be hard to get 1900, but we're doing great this week. We still have 335 people watching in here, and I see people going in and out watching on YouTube. Sometimes you just got to get within the algorithm. That's the toughest part of knowing what's going to drive people to watch.
Right.
So the LeBron news is 1 in a million, like where it's just big news, and you got to figure out how to fit it in, because if you don't talk the breaking news, you're missing out on a ton of views and a ton of watch time that the YouTube channel could be getting.
Right.
In that regard. So, yeah, that's pretty much how we roll from a breaking news perspective.
Yeah, I mean, breaking news is always one that's cool, but sometimes, like, like breaking news, depending on what it is, though, can either like zap your energy out of you or increase your energy. Like, if it's a very cool topic to talk about, or if it's even like, just talking about a trade happening, for example. Like, again, like literally, Nick and I were talking, here on StreamYard. And again, I checked my, Jaylen Brown traded, and I like yelled, like, Jaylen Brown just got traded. We got to hop on this.
Right. But then you have the other side of breaking news where, like, how many times do we have to break things about Kathy Engelbert in the WNBA during the CBA?
Oh, you've
talks?
got, I mean, well, that's one thing. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of that for baseball. But like, yeah, you've got some of the sleazy stuff, like, the leagues locking out. I think the worst breaking news is, announcing the death of like some big name player or some tragedy happening that affects games or affects communities and stuff of that nature as well.
I mean, John Sterling passing away.
John Sterling passing away.
We had to talk about that. I mean, like, the WNBA stuff was brutal, but like, I give people a lot of credit. They came in and watched our live shows. I think we had 1,000 people watching our WNBA bonus hour at one point.
Oh yeah, that was great. Like all the fans who came, though. I mean, yeah, we had a couple of dirt bags. That's with any content that we do here, but also like they generally gave their thoughts. Like we got to hear from somebody who was a Phoenix Mercury season ticket holder who talked about seeing and being a part of booing Kathy at the finals last year. How a lot of the teams have taken perks away from season seat holders, and it really have restricted access between the fan base and the players, which I think that was totally wrong for any franchise to do.
Yeah.
But also, like, you got other perspective, though, from fans, though, who have been, following teams and traveling for games, that, that this directly affects all of us that are sports fans in some capacity.
Yeah, and we'll dive into this more on Press Row tomorrow, but just, like, all the situations going on with the W, just everything from months ago when we talked about the lockout to now, is Kathy Engelbert unfit to be the commissioner? Which
I'll have more about that in about 6 hours on Cranium.
And I think you and I both are on the same page that she's unfit to be the commissioner for the W. And Christy made a good point, and some other people said like she would run away from PR, like from being on it. And I said, why? Because we actually tell the truth. And
I mean, if you need any indication, just go back and look at her leaving Dan Patrick high and dry last week.
Well, and I don't know what to believe with that fully. And if you want to check that out, we talked about that on a couple weeks ago. I think it was 2 shows ago. where she claims her PR told her not to go on the show. And last time I checked, the PR works for you, not the other way around. So we're going to dive more into the comments also made by Asia Wilson and by Nafisa Collier, who I heard is she back on the court, or she's close to being back on the
I think
court?
she's either back or close, yeah.
Which I think is good for the sport, by the way. Also, I still think there's more fights to be had with the W, because her deflecting and saying she wouldn't say whether or not she was going to be the commissioner in 2027. Now, she is partially telling the truth because her contract is up.
Yes.
So I guess to say I don't know is maybe not a complete BS answer, but I'm afraid that the owners are going to say we want her back because that's what the owners do.
Yes.
Look at the NFL with Roger, for crying out loud. Like, how many times they keep giving him more money? Or you get a Beaker running the NBA who keeps now. I think Adam Silver does a better job than most commissioners that we have. Even though I think maybe he's a little too buddy with the players.
Right.
Rob Manfred, don't even get me started. I think he's just done a terrible job in general. And who am I forgetting here? The National Hockey League.
Gary Bettman.
Gary Bettman. I don't know why his name keeps slipping out of my head. You know why? Because he's not allowed commissioner.
Yeah, neither is Don Garber, who might be on his way out pretty soon for retirement.
But, like, see, is that odd, though, that, like, because I don't hear Commissioner Bettman yelling and screaming, like, I almost forget he's there. Like, Roger Goodell, he's there. Adam Silver, he's there.
Rob Manfred, he's there, but it's the two niche sports that don't have all this chaos going on.
But that might not be a bad thing either.
No.
Now, could Gary Bettman be doing more for the sport? I think he could be.
84-game season this year.
It's a lot of games for the NHL, isn't it?
Yeah. Shortened of 4 preseason games, 84 games.
By the way, that's an NBA season. Almost. Isn't it?
2 games more now than the NBA.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because what are they? They're 82. Now the NHL is 80. Who would have thought in a million years that the NHL would have a longer season than the NBA?
Not the first time they've gone to 84 games either.
Oh, really?
Last time was the inaugural year for Anaheim in Florida, 93-94.
Wait a minute. So they went less, and now they're bringing it back up?
They went less because there was a lockout the following season that wiped out, I think, half the season.
But I never thought in a million years that the NBA would be trailing in games, considering the NBA is making like 10 or 15 times more money.
The NFL and NHL when it comes to total number of teams.
Wait, say that last thing again?
The NBA is also the NBA and baseball is still trailing the NBA or the NHL and NFL when it comes to total teams playing with 32.
See, and that's where I think it's backwards. Like the NHL has the most teams, but they're not making
the NFL. They have 32.
No, but I'm saying the NHL is up there.
Yeah.
In teams, but they're not making the most money.
Right. And same with Major League Soccer. They finally got to 30 teams last year.
Yeah, but I think that's more an Apple TV issue than anything, that they're not gaining enough exposure. I don't know. You want to go a little inside baseball-ish, since we're not going to be able to talk about this tomorrow because I don't think it's in the show. But
which one?
The soccer deal. Did we put that in?
They won $400 million yeah, that's in the show tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Okay. But briefly, like the MLS is looking for $400 million a year deal. I don't know if they're going to get that. Not because I don't think they should. Let me be very clear. I just don't know if the market cap is there for them to get $400 million.
I think if you're any soccer fan who wants to watch Lionel Messi play, I think you would want to have it on television.
Speaking of Messi, did you see he's not playing in the All-Star game again?
Yeah, well, that was already talked about beforehand, so there's no suspension or punishment this time around because of the World Cup.
Oh, that's why he's not playing in it?
Yeah.
I still think it's wrong, though.
I think the All-Star game is tomorrow on Apple from Charlotte, I think. I think today's the Skulls competition, I want to say.
How does that not hurt soccer, though, that he's not in it? I know it doesn't mean much. I know it's an All-Star game. I get it.
Yeah, but it's also not a traditional All-Star game either because this is MLS playing Liga MX, so it's Mexico versus the U.S. and Canada
Well,
tomorrow.
that's because MLS doesn't have two
No, we
sides.
have conferences. It's more of a thing that they do to measure where is the soccer ecosystem in America.
Yeah, I don't. They've
Been doing this for the last 15, 20 years, though.
Yeah, why is that? I was going to ask you why they do it that way.
I wonder that too. And one of my good friends, who's my friend Christian and Cecil, who I go to all these games with, said that they've been doing it to see can MLS finally hold their weight against the rest of the soccer world, and they have though for the last couple of years. But still,
yeah. But when you're playing against the rest of the world, I think the world is going to win.
Yeah, but now it's just MLS versus Liga MX. They don't play any of like the big clubs anymore, like they used to from Europe anymore.
Oh yeah, they'd get destroyed probably.
Oh yeah, last time they did, they got beat 7-0, I think, by Arsenal.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't know. Do they deserve to make more money? Sure. Of course, every league deserves to make more money. But I don't know. The Apple TV, I think, almost dismarketed them a little bit. Because is that where all the games were? Or no? Or like a high percentage of all their games were on Apple TV?
Fox still has a deal with MLS for games on Saturday or like Saturday afternoon, for example, with double headers.
But like I said, originally, before they removed the second level, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
What was MLS thinking?
Yeah, and I mean, there's one batch of my supporter friends. They travel in a van every game day, so they have a big fat TV like this is the NFL all over again, which I'll document more about when I get to my next game next month.
Yeah,
that they have a big fat ass, big screen TV in the back of the van with Apple TV where we can watch the early game windows, on Apple TV.
I think even without the second paywall, I think MLS did themselves a disservice being on Apple TV. I really did.
And also, by the way, the MLS All-Stars did beat Liga MX last year 3-1 in Austin. Sellout crowd of 20,000 people without Lionel Messi being there.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up numbers. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the W drew
outdrew
the NBA All-Star game?
Yes, outdrew the NBA All-Star game that was held in Inglewood, actually, at Intuit Dome this past February.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was roughly 2,000 more, I think.
Between 2,000 to 3,000, I think, yes.
I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, now, Inglewood and Intuit Dome is not a huge stadium, right?
Intuit Dome holds 18,300.
Okay, so I think that's a little unfair.
United Center, though, holds 21,000 people.
Yeah, I don't know if that's 100% fair to compare them if it's a smaller stadium, but because you're the one who said like they can open it up even a little bit more. Which stadium is it? The one in Chicago.
Yeah, they can open it up with standing room only. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a fair comparison, to be honest, but it also tells you, well, the WNBA product, we'll get into more of the business aspect of what happened in Chicago for the All-Star weekend and how USA Today might have completely taken a bite out of Caitlin Clark and for really stupid reasons, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I got to go to Intuit Dome last basketball season when the Clippers played the LeBron-less Sixers last year, and me and my friend who went, she's a big Sixers fan, so we went to the game, and we were like the last row of our section in the upper level, $20 tickets to watch the NBA in person. And the arena was beautiful. I mean, with what they've done with the plaza, you walk in, they got all this artwork. They have a full-fledged basketball court that you can go and take shots at beforehand. They got, balls for rent or whatever. And then you walk inside and you've got, everything there is on your phone. Like I show it off last show, I think, that you've got the way of like facial recognition, thanks a lot to James Dolan. But you also have you can have your game ticket, and all this is done via the Arena app,
almost like the ballpark app for baseball.
Yeah, your cards on there, your game tickets are on there, and you just walk through. You don't have to pull out your phone.
Then you walk to all of the concession stands and the merch stands. You walk in, they charge you $1 just in case, and then you get it back if you don't buy anything. And then once you leave, then you get charged when you leave the building.
Oh, it's like that Amazon thing you see in
Yeah.
airports sometimes. Like we
So
just
literally,
walk
I
in-
went over to the concession stand about 2 sections over, grabbed the slice of pizza, or grab the.
Oh, they
personal
put it
pizza.
out like on a
Yeah,
thing,
so
right?
I went in there and when I walked in, welcome, Callan. Like literally, like they know they know your information. You walk in, you grab your shit, you leave, and then right as I left, I checked my phone. Charge for this Coors Light and this pizza, $20. There you go, without having to pull out your phone.
Because everything is going self-service.
Yeah.
Now that's a big thing. Now, do they have workers or no?
Oh yeah, they have employees there to check IDs, for example, for that. If you have any questions about how to navigate the store or navigate the app, for example.
Is the concessions only self-serve, or do they do things where they walk around?
Not what I can recall about in the upper level, at least, about people walking around that I remember seeing.
Do they do walking concessions is basically what I'm
I
asking.
think they do, but I couldn't tell you because we got that game late, sadly, because of traffic. So I'm hoping to get back up for a couple of games to go and really immerse myself at Intuit Dome. But I did go to the upper level merch store. They've got like 4 or 5 basketball hoops out there for kids to go and shoot at. They get the full court out there in the plaza.
Is there charging ports like they said at the seats?
Oh yeah, every seat has a charging port. You play the game. Next time I go, I'll document it when I.
Yeah, you gotta.
Because the charging port. Because my phone was about to die, so it charged it. Play all the games during the timeouts and stuff. And also the app. They have a thing called the Clipper Wave Makers, which is like so. The louder, so like you tack on like video game points. So like you go there, like depending on how loud you get, you might be able to win like $5 off merchandise or $5 off concessions, but they reset every season. So you have to, kind of go consistently. And then, of course, the other cool thing that they have there, being a soccer nut, they've got the wall. They have 51 rows of 51 rows of seats behind the opposing bench and basket. You can only wear Clippers gear or you can't enter the section. Like this is a soccer supporter section. And then they have a little area, much like soccer, where you have to, be standing all game, chanting and banging drums and doing stuff. But that again, you can win like free Chick-fil-A for a year. You can win free tickets to a future game. And all that is kept though inside the app though. But though, Nick, it's cool though, because I would check my phone like every time out. Hey, you just got $5 off team merchandise. Jerseys are $200 off. So I have a jersey that I got with that discount that has my name and number on the back of it. And I didn't get one that said LA, obviously, because I don't like the city. But I got one. It's like, this was a reason, why I think that I've gone that way with my NBA fandom. Because, toss aspiration and all that stuff out the window for a second. The fan experience and putting the fan first in this time frame that we're living in, Morgasen, when it comes to everything is so damn expensive, for tickets, parking, you name it. I think we may have paid $20 to park a block from the arena, for example. But then you go to the game though, and you have all these incentives though, like because I forgot what I did, but they have like sensors in your seat when you're making noise. Congrats, you just got $5 off your next concession, your concession stand purchase or whatever. It's like
this is technology.
But who wouldn't want to go to a game though, Nick, and get rewarded for your fandom towards your favorite team? In this way,
they don't do that enough in places. I mean,
and I think that yes, we can crucify Steve Ballmer and crucify Kawhi Leonard and crucify aspiration, but I mean when you go that far above and beyond to say that the fan base matters to the organization and to the franchise and to the ownership and whatnot, that can go a long ways, Nick, even with all the shit that they are dealing with off the playing court right now in Inglewood, California.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they care about fan interaction and driving fans to butts and seats is
I'm re-downloading the app so I can go back and check like what I recall getting for like all these, much like Super Chats, Nick. You get fan badges whenever you go to a Clipper game, and you get rewarded that you can use that like a future game. But again, they all reset come the new season.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they're trying to incentivize you to show up to more games and to keep you more involved. The more deals they offer, the more you're going to say, "Hey, I want to go on a Friday night, a Saturday night. Let's go to a game instead of going to a bar or or doing that type of stuff."
By the way, because I just got back into the app, they still have a photo of Kawhi Leonard holding up the Clippers jersey, like showing off the team name on it. They haven't changed it yet. Still,
Oops. Well, because he's technically not gone yet.
exactly.
Can you imagine if they say trade rejected and he's got to stay with the Clippers?
Oh, that'd be something.
But I don't know, man. It's
God, I still have notifications from the All-Star weekend. I haven't cleared out of here yet. I couldn't make it up there. I was going to because my friend DJ Shauna from the Bucks was actually DJing the whole weekend, but it didn't work out with my schedule. Sadly, I was so pissed. That would have been great.
As we've now hit the 2-hour mark for the content dungeon, we've talked a lot today. We got through a lot of things. We talked some breaking news. We talked some NFL college football and our schedule coming up, our fantasy football, our survivor pools. We talked about the 3,000 hour watch hour goal, which we are getting slowly or quickly approaching to do more things. We talked about some analytics.
So, by the way, I just went back and checked my account. You also cross different levels with this program called the Wave Makers. So now I'm on level 2 after one game with 754 points.
Wow.
You also get all these little missions to do over the course of a game day, by the way. So let's see, what did I do? So here's all the ones I got from the game I went to against Philadelphia. Shop till you drop. Go to the flagship store or any Clip stop or shops and pick up any new Clipper merch on a game day. You earn points when you upgrade your fit. Visit any merch stop. And all merch purchases earn you 1 point. So $1 spent is 1 point. Buy your gear and then wear it. So that gave me 70 points on that game day, which was nice. And then what else did I get? Distracting the opposition for a free throw, which usually is the Chick-fil-A ordeal, but I got 60 points for when Embiid missed a couple of free throws.
What is that? Just like screaming and like the censoring of the
distracting
chair?
the opposition. Exactly. Play a game play one of the Halo game or the Halo board video games during the commercial break, which I did, or during the break. If you're louder than 85 decibels, you got points for that.
Jesus.
So they
That's
somehow,
loud.
so in the seat, they have sensors that measure how loud are you actually going to be during or how loud can you be during a game.
Do they have what you were that got it or no?
No, it's great. Obviously, it was loud enough to be over 85 decibels.
Oh, that's funny.
And then getting there half an hour early, and then if you played Candy Crush at halftime. That's what
Candy Crush. I'm in.
Yeah. So
how many points is Candy Crush?
Yeah, but all that was in one game day up there at Intuit Dome. Crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, what a show. We are just continue to do your part. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. YouTube.com/ETB network. Subscribe. Help us to what we're doing. We're almost at 1,150 subscribers.
I'm jealous now.
But yeah, just get involved in everything we're doing. We are going to do this show. It'll probably be Monday. That's probably because Givin Takes. Oh, I forgot about that. Givin Takes starting the week of September 1st will be on Tuesday so that he can react to Monday Night Football. So actually, that'll be great for us. Like to do maybe do the Monday show at night.
Maybe.
Either as a little react pre-show or maybe during the game. So we'll figure that one out. But Givin Takes the week of September 1st officially and then permanently moves to Tuesday from 9:30 to 10:30, leading into The Cranium, which is tonight. Don't miss Callan's Cranium airing tonight at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. What's coming up in The Cranium?
Coming up tonight, Inside the Cranium, all things LeBron to Philadelphia. Is Kathy Engelbert fit to lead the WNBA forward? Trade deadline predictions, but also a new segment debuts, Nick, of almost like a Nate Miller top 10. Who do I have being the next 10 inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame as Hall of Fame weekend's come and gone?
Ooh, that's good. I like that topic. Yeah, so don't miss that tonight. And then you're back again. Doubleheader mode with me for Press Row, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And again, we'll get into the whole Ryan Clark situation, him being interviewed on his own podcast, The Pivot. We'll get into Kathy Engelbert. What else did we have listed for the show? But a lot of WNBA All-Star recap. I'm trying to think. What else did we have planned for the show?
Ward Manuel.
Oh, yeah. Ward Manuel. Also, we'll get into the UNC Michael Lombardi investigation from a bigger point of view. We'll talk about Caitlin Clark versus Nancy Armour. Making a unfortunate comparison. So don't miss that tomorrow. Press Row, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. I have to check my... Oh, I forgot to mention the guest.
Ah, yes. Thank God we're here.
Let me just check here. So Michael McCarthy, the senior media writer for Front Office Sports, has agreed to come on the show live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So actually, you and I are going to have to sit and figure that out.
We will, yes.
We're going to talk ESPN layoffs. We'll get into a little bit of the WNBA stuff. Some other media stuff that's going on in the world. Maybe we'll talk ESPN and NFL Network and all that, and all those moves and everything. And yeah, don't miss that. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Probably be 20 to 25 minutes, probably.
Yeah.
So that's a big guest, by the way. I've been trying to get Marchand or McCarthy or those
Jimmy
guys.
Traina.
I'm going to get Jimmy Traina at some point. He was just busy when I tried to get him last time. But I like McCarthy. He's a decent guy. But that'll do it for the show. Like I said, don't miss Callan's Cranium tonight, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. As you go deep inside, the inner machinations of his mind are an enigma.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Follow the network at ETB Network, like I said, across all social media platforms. And thank you to the almost 360 people who have been in here watching the show. It is gladly appreciated. I think this show is a gold mine. It does well. We could talk about the inner workings of the network across some other trending things as well. But until tomorrow, until for you at midnight, but until tomorrow, when the two of us are back with you with Press Row, that'll do it for this show, for the Content Dungeon. And like always, we say goodbye in the royal way for the Content Dungeon. For Callan McClurg, I'm Nick Morgasen. Have a good night, everybody.